Are you planning a trip to Costa Rica? If so, you've probably seen dozens of itineraries online, but let's be honest, most of them cram in way too much, and you end up spending half your trip in a car and missing out on what makes this country actually feel special. I've been visiting Costa Rica for the last 15 years, and in this video, I'm going to share my ultimate 1-week itinerary. This itinerary is what actually makes sense, what's realistic, and what will give you the best and most unforgettable experience to this beautiful country. No overwhelm, no chaos, just adventure and pura vida times. As someone who's spent 7 years as a flight attendant and has traveled to almost 50 countries, I know what's worth your time and what isn't. I've backpacked through Southeast Asia, couch surfed in Madagascar, and have stayed in some seriously bougie and luxury Airbnbs and hotels, and I can honestly say that I think I know how to do Costa Rica just right in 1 week. This video is going to save you hours of planning. I'm going to show you exactly where to go, how long to stay, and how to avoid the most common mistakes that most travelers make. And make sure that you stick around to the very end because I'll actually be giving you 2 versions of the most perfect 1-week itinerary. One that departs from Liberia Airport, which is in the north of the country, and one that departs from San José, which is the capital of Costa Rica and is more central. Why this is important is because based on whatever city you are flying out of will determine where you get the best flight options and deals to. Maybe it's easier for you to fly to San Jose, or maybe there are more direct flights for you to Liberia. And I think that this is a really important factor to consider when you're planning out your perfect 1-week trip. But trust me, I'm going to make it super simple, so let's get into it. Now, Costa Rica may look small, but the roads are slow. The terrain is mountainous, and distances that seem short on Google Maps often take hours. And that's why I've structured both of these itineraries based on flow, so that you can see the best of the country without rushing. And I think that that's really important because Costa Rica just has so much to offer between jungles, hot springs, volcanoes, wildlife, surfing, incredible beach towns. There is so much to see and do, and that can feel really overwhelming. And the last thing you want is to go away on a 1-week trip and feel super anxious the entire time of wanting to check all of those boxes and then returning home just to feel completely depleted. So I do think it's important to be realistic about what you can accomplish in a week and also really reflect on what is important to you. Like, what is your dream vision of Costa Rica? Is it seeing sloths? Is it seeing volcanoes? Is it soaking in hot springs? Or are you more a beach, surf town sort of person? Are you traveling with your family? Do you need easy access to places? Is accessibility important? So again, while this may all feel very overwhelming, just know that you right now, sitting in front of this video with me, you're doing your due diligence to better understand the lay of the land and really piece together what your perfect itinerary is going to look like. Because as much as I can sit here and tell you, do this, drive here, stay here, that's great and all, but I do also very much think it's important for you as a traveler to think about what is important to you. Is it accommodations? Okay, prioritize finding the most comfortable accommodations for you and then base your trip out around that. I actually find that I've been doing that recently, where I will find a beautiful Airbnb that suits my comfort level, and from there I'll kind of plan my trip around that. The thing about Costa Rica is it is a little bit more on the pricey side. So finding an Airbnb that works in your budget and is also location friendly can take time. I am going to be putting out a video next about Airbnbs versus hotels, so make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss that video. Again, planning your perfect 1-week itinerary takes time. It takes research. So also make sure that you check out any one of my other amazing videos that I've made about Costa Rica. Hot springs, whether or not to rent a car, my ultimate guide to Guanacaste, José, La Fortuna, I have spent so much time in these places and have made videos that are specific to those regions to better help you plan your trip. I'm also going back down in a few weeks. I'll be visiting Manuel Antonio and creating the ultimate Manuel Antonio guide, as well as experiencing more of La Fortuna's luxury accommodations and experiences. Because as much as I've lived through my era of being a budget traveler, I also do like the finer things in life, especially when you have a 1 week unforgettable, once in a lifetime trip. You want to do it right. So if any of those items are on your list of travels, you're in the right place. Okay, let's start out with itinerary 1, and this is departing from San Jose Airport. In my opinion, this route gives you the perfect mix of rainforest, volcanoes, mountain, and beach, all within a realistic week. So your first day in Costa Rica will be spent in San Jose. Unless you land super early in San Jose, I would plan to spend at least 1 night there. San Jose is a big city. In my experience, it's been a place that I really do want to get in and out of. So depending on when your flight lands, stay just 1 night or leave right away. Because I recommend your first stop after San Jose be La Fortuna. But I really do not recommend driving to La Fortuna right after you land because you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be wanting to relax, chill, and that really is the Pura Vida vibe, is to just chill. And also, do not drive under any circumstances to La Fortuna in the dark. The navigation can be tricky and the roads are winding. You're really seriously driving into the jungle. There are also lots of shuttle companies and bus companies that can arrange your transportation for you. So depending on if you're renting a car or wanting somebody else to drive for you, you gotta keep this in mind. The drive from San Jose to get just about anywhere worth going is about 3 hours. So just mentally prepare for the fact that going to Costa Rica does mean quite a bit of time in a vehicle. It's not really a place where you can just land and be on the beach in 20 minutes. The closest you can be on a beach directly from an airport is from Liberia to, say, Playa Panama, right directly to the coast, and that is 30 minutes. So just keep that in mind. And Playa Panama, I would say, isn't really like super high on most people's list of places to go. Especially if you've never been to Costa Rica before, you really do want to hit these iconic spots, which, they're iconic for a reason. They check all the boxes. Okay, let's get back to the itinerary. So day 1 is San Jose. Day 2, we're now in La Fortuna. Day 2 would be a great day to visit the La Fortuna waterfall, which is a really easily accessible waterfall to see. Like, all shapes and sizes are really easy to access and view this waterfall. There's about 1,000 steps that you can walk all the way down to the base of it, where you can swim in the waterfall, see monkeys and everything. It is absolutely beautiful. But if your point is to just view and see it, and you maybe don't have the accessibility to walk up and down 1,000 stairs, it's still a really good option. Now, not far from the La Fortuna waterfall is Northfield's Coffee and Cacao Farm. I mean, what a great way to spend your day 2 is by tasting some of Costa Rica's most iconic flavors, coffee and chocolate. This tour is about $46 per person and runs about 2.5 hours. You'll get to see how coffee is grown, how it's brewed, harvested. It's absolutely amazing. You'll then also get to see how cacao is grown, how it's harvested, fermented, and then you yourself can taste a few different types of their cacao, mixing it with different flavors, nuts, cinnamon. It's honestly amazing. And this is maybe about a 10-minute drive from the La Fortuna waterfall. Now, I recommend you staying 2 nights in La Fortuna. By staying 2 nights, it lets you explore without feeling rushed and really getting an opportunity to check some of those really big boxes. So now, in your first day of being in Costa Rica, you have seen a waterfall, probably swam in it, tasted coffee, seen how it's grown, tasted cacao, and also viewed a volcano, which I'll get to next. Now, the reason why La Fortuna is so well known is because of Arenal volcano. Now, you can't actually hike this volcano because it erupted just around 50 years ago. And so that ecosystem is still really delicate and fragile. It's also still very much an active volcano. But the town of La Fortuna gives you absolutely stunning panoramic views of this volcano. And what comes with that? are hot springs. Now, for me, this is definitely one of my favorite parts about Costa Rica is soaking in these mineral-rich hot springs. And also after a long flight, this is a fabulous way to hack the jet lag. Pro tip is to make sure that you are booking your hot spring experience ahead of time, especially if you only have a 1-week itinerary where your dates are not super flexible, because these hot springs do book up quickly because they are absolutely incredible. Some of the best hot springs in La Fortuna are the Springs Resort and Hotel. This place is by far the bougiest, most luxe experience, followed closely by Tabacon. I believe a 1-day pass is around $80 US. There's also Eco Termales, which I believe was about $50 or $60 US a day. There's Baldi Hot Springs, which is meant to have a fantastic buffet as well. Lots of slides and fun spaces for children, so if you're a family, that might be a really good option. And then there's also the free hot springs, which is totally worth checking out just for the experience. I actually made an entire video about the free versus paid hot springs, which is right here. And I'll also be visiting the Springs and Nayara Resort this month, so stay tuned for that review. Okay, day 3 of this 1-week itinerary still has us in La Fortuna. Think you're waking up, you're enjoying beautiful hot Costa Rican coffee, the sound of toucans, macaws are all around you, because really, La Fortuna is one of the best places to witness wildlife. After your morning coffee and Costa Rican breakfast, you can head out on a hike. I really enjoyed the 1968 Arenal lava hike, which is a super easy terrain. Like if you want something that is, again, accessible, manageable for like a 2.5-hour gorgeous walk through the jungle, this is a great hike option. There's also no entry fee. You just pay to park your car, which I believe was about $20 US. This hike gives you the most stunning panoramic views of Arenal volcano. You hike through coffee fields, botanical gardens, and the actual trail itself is full of lava rock. You're basically hiking through the lava fields from when Arenal last erupted in 1968. The trail ends off at what I consider to be the most beautiful place to have a coffee in La Fortuna, with gorgeous views of Arenal Lake, volcano, coffee fields everywhere. You can have an iced coffee, a hot coffee, read a book, and just take in the glorious nature around you. I think that's a pretty epic way to start a day. From there, you can head to another one of my favorite spots in La Fortuna, which is Mystico Hanging Bridges. This is a great way to see wildlife, take some epic photos, and really feel like you're in the heart of the jungle. I spent an extra $35 for a guide, and I'm so glad I did, because they have the equipment necessary and the knowledge and eyesight to actually spot some of Costa Rica's most unbelievable wildlife. Like, you would walk right past something and not even see it, because these locals have grown up in these habitats, right? So they have the ability to recognize even just a slight shadow and say, wow, that's a tree snake up there. Here's a telescope to look through. Like, they really do guide you through the jungle. It is absolutely worth it to have a guide. And that goes for any place that you go, to be honest. Because again, you're only there for 1 week. You want to make the most of it. So I really don't recommend on cheaping out or trying to stretch your dollar in places where it counts like this. Book an official Costa Rican guide. It will absolutely be a night and day experience. Now, of course, there are so many other things to do in La Fortuna. So if coffee tours aren't your thing, if hiking isn't your thing, if hot springs aren't your thing, just know that you can swap out any of the other numerous experiences instead. If you'd rather go whitewater rafting, zip lining, like, what does your dream vacation look like? And prioritize those things. Because you've only got 2 days in La Fortuna, because on day 4, we're heading to Monteverde Cloud Forest, which is about a 3-hour drive from La Fortuna. Long, but stunning. Afternoon, you can check into your Airbnb or hotel. I'll actually be staying at a really epic Airbnb in just a few weeks and leaving a full review for this spot. If you are a family, this is where you gotta stay. Again, make sure that you're subscribed. That video will be going live in just a couple of weeks. I really do try to make an effort to research, seek out, and book my stays at places that I believe are the best spots to stay so that I can share them with my community here on YouTube. So just know that anywhere that I'm recommending is a place that I myself have gone to and stayed, and I will always give you my most for real review. Monteverde is well known for being the cloud forest. There's lots of hanging bridges here. You're really going to feel completely and totally engulfed in the spirit that is Costa Rica. A little bit different from La Fortuna because La Fortuna is a bit more of a town. It's more developed. There is a little bit more diversity to what you can do there, where Monteverde is really dedicated to spotting wildlife and being in the jungle. You're literally walking through the clouds. You'll see so many different species of frogs, of birds, of mammals. It really is a super biodiversity hotspot. I also think it's really family friendly. Like, you can definitely go here with your kids and not have any problems. And that's also the same for La Fortuna. But here you're gonna wanna make sure that you're booking nocturnal night hikes because there are so many species of nocturnal animals that you can only see at night. I actually think you would be very remiss to go all the way to Costa Rica and not do at least one night hike because it is just a totally different experience. Like, the jungle just comes alive in a very different way. Also keep in mind that Monteverde is cooler, so make sure that you're packing long sleeves, long pants, and a light sweater. You don't want anything too heavy because it is still the tropics, but something that can kind of keep you a little bit warmer at night, and also definitely bring a rain jacket. Okay, this now brings us into our day 5 of our itinerary out of San Jose, and we are still in Monteverde Cloud Forest. In the morning, I would recommend you book a zip lining tour and or a canopy walk. You cannot go to Monteverde and not walk through the stunning canopies. Alternatively, you could also spend your morning doing a bird watching tour because this is one of the best places in the world to see birds. And of course, when you're looking for birds, you're going to see lots of other animals too. I wouldn't be surprised if you spot one of the 4 different species of monkeys that are in Costa Rica or one of the 2 species of sloth. It's just when you think of Costa Rica, first thing that comes to mind is wildlife. So getting outside, the more you look, the more you find. Going on multiple opportunities to spot wildlife is really what's going to check that wildlife box for you, you know? And Monteverde is truly one of the best places in Costa Rica to do just that. You can also go to the Santa Elena Reserve to see unique flora and fauna, or check out the Curicancha Reserve, which is another option for wildlife viewing. There's also butterflies and hummingbirds to see in their various butterfly gardens. And Monteverde is another great spot for you to check out coffee and cacao tours. So if you didn't get a chance to do this in La Fortuna, Monteverde is also an opportunity to do this. Keep in mind that you can really only do coffee and chocolate tasting tours inland, where there's mountains, because that is the biome in which coffee and cacao actually can grow. So if you're thinking of heading just to the beach, keep this in mind because you won't really have the opportunity to taste these delicious Costa Rican flavors. Also on the coast, you won't see as much wildlife. So this is why we're really packing in all of the wildlife in these first 2 towns to optimize your experience. Our day 5 in Monteverde will come to an end with a 3-hour drive to Manuel Antonio. The reason why I recommend doing this drive before your 6th day of your itinerary is because Manuel Antonio is one of Costa Rica's most well-known national parks, and with good reason. It's this absolutely stunning vista where the jungle quite literally meets the beach. And you want to make sure that you're entering the park first thing in the morning for your best chance to see as much wildlife as possible. And don't forget, on your drive from Monteverde to Manuel Antonio, that you stop at the Tarcoles Bridge. The Tarcoles Bridge is really hard to miss. There will be tons of people stopped there because it is one of the few places in the country where you can just see hundreds and hundreds of massive crocodiles. So that's definitely worth a stop. Keep in mind that Manuel Antonio Park only releases a limited number of daily tickets, so buy these in advance and make sure that you have your dates scheduled accordingly. The cost of entry is around $18 for adults and around $5 for children. Manuel Antonio gives you the opportunity to spot sloths, monkeys, so much beautiful wildlife is here. You can also get in some serious beach time at Espadilla Beach, which is the most popular beach in Manuel Antonio. There are a few others, but this one is the most stunning. The town of Manuel Antonio is really quite busy. I remember I went to this really cool restaurant called El Avion, Even if you go there for lunch, it's literally inside an airplane. So it's just a really cool, unique spot to check out that if you only really have one day in Manuel Antonio, I think it's worth it to go to this place. There's also beautiful views of the ocean. And just as a reminder, I'm going to be doing a full ultimate guide to Manuel Antonio in just a few weeks, so subscribe to my channel so that you can catch that video. Okay, our last and final day of our San Jose 1 week itinerary is really just us driving back to San Jose. This is again about another 3-hour drive, and keep in mind, as I mentioned, you do not need to rent a car. There are shuttles that will take you from all of the locations that I recommended in this 1 week itinerary. Because these are the most highly visited tourist destinations, there are tons of different companies that will take you from point A to point B to point C, no problem. I know that transportation can really stress people out, but believe me, Costa Rica's economy completely relies on tourism. They have these things so dialed in that honestly, it makes for such an enjoyable experience because they have all the infrastructure in place to make your trip as seamless as possible. On your drive back to San Jose, you can stop at the Brit Coffee Farm. Brit, B-R-I-T-T, is kind of like the Costa Rica's Starbucks. It's like their international brand. They do so many different things, from chocolate-covered cherries, chocolate-covered coffee beans, chocolate, coffee, like again, more chocolate, more coffee. So if you didn't have an opportunity to do that in the last 2 towns, you can do that here on your drive back to San Jose. In my opinion, this 1 week itinerary gives you the best of Costa Rica's diversity. You get to check out the volcanoes, the jungles, cloud forest, and beach, all in one smooth loop. And just because I think it's worth mentioning, an alternative option to Manuel Antonio, if you really are like all wildlifed out, you don't want another national park, you kind of just want a beach town, you could go to Jaco Beach. Of course, there are so many other little beach towns. There's Dominical, there's Uvita, there's Capos, there's Playa Hermosa, there's lots of other little towns. Jaco Beach is just very well known. It's super developed. It's actually really the first developed beach city in all of Costa Rica. So it has a lot of infrastructure. There's lots of hotels. There's all-inclusive resorts there. I actually did a video about all-inclusive resorts here, and I'll link it in the description down below. But Jaco Beach is another option that you can consider for your final day in your 7-day itinerary. Okay, now let's get into our 1 week itinerary when landing into Liberia. In this 1 week, I have planned you to go to the Rincón de la Vieja, Tamarindo, and Nosara. This itinerary gives you more beach time and less driving. I would say that itinerary 1 is definitely more for the adventurous souls, where itinerary 2 is a little bit more low-key. Okay, day 1, you're going to land in Liberia. You can pick up your rental car or grab your shuttle, head to your hotel, and ideally head right to the beach. You can stay at somewhere like Playa Hermosa, Playa del Coco. Those are really quick and easy access beach points. And it's only about a 30-minute drive. You can also definitely take a taxi. Trust me, you're gonna land at Liberia Airport and there will be tons of transportation opportunities there. I think this is a great first day. You can have a chill beach evening, watch the sunset, have some cocktails while overlooking the ocean. And you can have your first casado plate, which is a Costa Rican Tico-typical dish that has fried plantains, rice, beans, and your choice of protein. Ideally, some fresh fish. Okay, day 2, I recommend that you head to the National Park of Rincón de la Vieja. This is a volcano national park and it's only 1 hour drive away. Here you can hike through the park, definitely have opportunity to spot lots of wildlife. There's bubbling mud pools here where you can kind of have this really cool experience of covering yourself in mud. And it is like a therapeutic spa-like experience. Like the mud is full of all of these incredible minerals that are super good for your skin. All of these minerals which are released from the volcano. There's also hot springs and waterfalls here. It really is like a fabulous 1-day excursion. That is easy access from the beach, so you can either plan to spend a night in this area or head back to whatever Airbnb or hotel you've booked on the coast. I definitely recommend that you pack closed-toed shoes for any of these options that you select when going to Costa Rica. You have to bring a good pair of hiking shoes or a really good pair of walking sandals. Okay, on day 3, I'm going to recommend that you take a 1.5 hour drive further south down the Costa Rican Pacific coastline to Tamarindo. Tamarindo. And while Tamarindo is also nicknamed Tamagringo because there are so many tourists and gringos there, it is with good reason. It's a very developed town. There's lots of restaurants to eat at, bars to go to, lots of shopping, there's surf lessons, there's diving excursions. You could have also gone to Playa Flamingo, which is another great spot that's a little less touristy, a little less developed. But I think if it's your first time going to Costa Rica, this is kind of the iconic 1 week itinerary, and with good reason, just due to accessibility. If you're really looking for unique experiences in Costa Rica, I have other videos about Corcovado National Park that I would recommend, or Ojo Chao, Uvita, Dominical. So just keep in mind, like a 1 week itinerary can look so different. It's really just all based on personal preference. Tamarindo has really cute little beach cafes. Vieja is one of my favorite little cafes, especially if you are a digital entrepreneur like me. There's also an incredible restaurant in Tamarindo. It might be like low-key my favorite restaurant in all of Costa Rica, and it's called Falafel Bar. You have to go to this restaurant. It is amazing. It is like the most delicious falafel, hummus, shrimp skewers, like all the spreads that they do are amazing, and it's just kind of like a different type of food to have in Costa Rica. Like, yes, you want to have all of the local amazing Tico style meals, but you know, you kind of get sick of like having pizza or having pasta. Like, I just think for a really fresh, delicious meal, Falafel Bar is unbelievable. Okay, on day 4, we're going to head out on a mangrove and wildlife tour. This is a really awesome activity to do, is take a guided kayak tour through the Tamarindo estuary or the Iguanito Refuge. You're gonna see crocodiles, monkeys, birds, lots of wildlife here, and it gets you on the water, which is nice. A small sustainability tip is to book with operators that use smaller boats. They're ultimately better for the ecosystem and better for your experience. Okay, day 5, you're still going to be in Tamarindo, but here you can do an optional day trip to a new beach nearby. Playa Avellanes is really not far from Tamarindo. It's maybe a 20-minute drive, or if you're feeling super adventurous, you can head further south down to Nosara. Nosara is the area that's known as the Blue Zones, which is an absolutely beautiful area. If you really want to prioritize surfing, I would recommend you head to Playa Guiones. It is one of the most world-renowned spots for surf, and it's just a beautiful town. Another area you can consider going to is Playa Samara or Samara. This is definitely a little bit more family friendly, but I personally love it. There's wild horses on the beach. It's just a really chill beach vibe town with lots of fabulous restaurants, boutiques, little ice cream shops, coffee shops. It's like a quintessential Costa Rican vibe. Now, if you're visiting during turtle season, which is August to December, you can also head to Ostional, where you can do a night turtle watching tour. I've honestly seen turtles all over Costa Rica, whether it was in December, January, February. Maybe it's because I've been very lucky, but you can see turtles in so many different areas. Honestly, speaking to locals is one of the best ways to find out these secret special spots, or contact the closest conservation or wildlife rehabilitation center, because they can likely point you in the right direction. Okay, day 6, we are going and chasing waterfalls to one of Costa Rica's most iconic waterfall, which is Rio Celeste. I went to Rio Celeste on maybe my 2nd or 3rd trip to Costa Rica, and it absolutely blew away my expectations. Rio Celeste is a river in Costa Rica that is famous for its vibrant turquoise blue water, located with the Tenorio Volcano National Park. The unique color is due to an optical illusion caused by the presence of aluminosilicates, which are suspended in the water from the mixing of 2 other nearby rivers and a volcano. The mixing of these 2 separate water sources is what makes this water seem so vibrantly blue. Now, there is no swimming here, but the hike is absolutely worth it. And this is another opportunity to work with a tour guide, a one-on-one individual who can take you through the park and point out different species of wildlife. This is about a 2.5, maybe 3 hour drive, so it is a bit of a commitment, but honestly, I think it's totally worth it. Like, there are just not many places in the world where you can see waterfalls like this. You can then have a picnic, go for a swim, or grab lunch at a roadside soda. Sodas are another word for local Costa Rican restaurant. They have the best prices and honestly the best food. Do not go all the way to Costa Rica and not eat in a soda. You can end your day back at your hotel accommodations or closer to Liberia, because on day 7, your final day will be you transporting yourself back to the airport to fly home. You can grab any last minute coffee beans, chocolate, t-shirts, souvenirs, or wooden crafts before boarding. Definitely get all of your souvenirs before you get to the airport because everything is so overpriced there. In my opinion, this itinerary is perfect if you want to experience sun, surf, and nature without having to cover half of the country. Okay, this is my bonus section for a few extra tips. First is driving. Keep in mind that the roads are slow and curvy. Download the app Waze instead of Google Maps because it just works a lot better in Costa Rica. And you really do want to avoid driving at night. Okay, now let's talk about weather. December to April is considered the dry season. There really isn't a whole lot of rain, but do keep in mind whenever you are inland, so in places like La Fortuna or Monteverde, that you are in a rainforest. So do expect there to be some rain and a little bit of colder temperatures. However, if you're staying on the coastline, it is super hot, super dry. Trust me, you do not need a pair of jeans. You barely even need a light sweater because it really is that hot. Now, when it comes to money, you're going to be using colones or USD. There are ATMs all throughout Costa Rica, so you really don't have to stress too much about how you're going to get money out. If you're not sure about how to use your cell phone when you're in Costa Rica, you either are going to want to check with your cell phone provider to see if they have travel packages, or you can download a free app called Arenal. This is not sponsored in any way. I genuinely use Arenal all over the world: Mexico, Colombia, Japan, Costa Rica. It works seamlessly, and it doesn't require you to go out and buy a SIM card. You can install it directly onto your phone, and I find that the rates are so much more affordable. Like, you'll probably pay $30 to $40 for a whole week of unlimited calls, texts, and data. And my last few tips are to be a mindful traveler. Don't forget to bring your reusable water bottles. Say no to plastic and plastic bags. Even bring reusable plastic bags because you'll probably be doing some grocery shopping. They work great for storing your wet bathing suits in. They make great beach bags that you don't have to worry about getting dirty. Support local guides and local businesses, and make sure to always respect the local wildlife. Costa Rica rewards travelers who go slow and stay curious. If you travel with intention, you will leave with more than just photos. Okay, so that is your complete ultimate 1-week itinerary in Costa Rica, designed to maximize adventure without burnout. Let me know in the comments, are you team jungle or are you team beach? And if you've been craving something a little bit different, I'm actually launching my very first citizen scientist expedition to Costa Rica in April 2026. Which is going to be a hands-on conservational trip to an area just outside of La Fortuna. This will be an opportunity for you to truly step foot into what it feels like to be a real field biologist and contribute directly to scientific research. I'm actually offering this trip through my business, which, if you don't already know, is called The Urban Botanist. The Urban Botanist is a brand that I founded about 8.5 years ago now that inspires people to connect with nature on a deeper level. So I'm really pairing my love and passion for Costa Rica with my business and my love and passion for encouraging people to grow their green thumbs. What better place to do that than in Costa Rica? If you want to learn more about that, I will leave that linked in the description down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, especially if you are planning on going to Costa Rica. Like, really, I do feel that this is the best way to get information is through these long format style videos. So if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. Again, if you're sending me super detailed DMs like me and my 17-year-old son, my 14-year-old daughter, my 87-year-old, I genuinely, and I'm so sorry, don't have time to answer all of those questions. I'm not actually a travel agent. I'm just a passionate Costa Rican traveler, and I do have a full-time business that I operate. I just make these videos for fun, and I make them to help you. So if you do have more questions, like, I honestly just recommend that you watch more of my videos or connect with a trusted travel agent. I really do hope that one day I can help people on more of a one-on-one basis, but right now it's really just all being put into these videos. So really, again, it does mean the world to me if you leave me a comment, like the video, and of course subscribing, because It really does help my growing channel, and it helps me to bring more fabulous and well-rounded content to people like you that are planning their first once-in-a-lifetime, unforgettable trip to Costa Rica. Like I mentioned, I'll be back down there this month filming more helpful videos like this, so we'll see you in the next one. Bye!